Okay, Rachel, you can start our event today. The time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Pesat Speaks Up. Hello, my name is Rachel Valencia as the host, and today we are going to watch amazing performance from two groups who will explain to us about some interesting topic. And in this video conference, I am not alone. I am here with my friend Benny Hiram Zachary Talogo as the moderator. But before we embark on this enlightening video conference together, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Honorable Mr. Iwan Setiawan, SPD, Ms. Wirya Aini as MPD, and Ms. Tri Rahayu MPD as the adjudicator, and also to Ms. Lariska Saptiani SPD as our homeroom teacher for joining this video conference. Okay, now I will give this video conference to my friend. For the moderator, Benny Hiram, please take this video conference.
Okay, thank you, Rachel, for bringing me up to the stage. I hereby welcome all of you up to the 4th annual Pesat Speaks Up at Pioneer Fast. Today we are gathered here on this wonderful occasion to watch the performance from Groups 7 and 8 that will present some interesting topics that can improve our knowledge about it. Before we start, let me introduce myself. My name is Hiram from Group 2, and now I'll read the conference rules of this video conference. For presenters, make sure to log in with your full name and group. Make sure you have the chairperson for speaking. It is special for the speaker from your group. As you're the first speaker, please introduce yourself and your friends in the beginning, then closing the presentation in the end. Presenter can use video or vlog maximum in 3 minutes. For observers, make sure to mute or turn off the microphone when one is speaking, not to turn on the microphone when without the moderator's permission. Only the presenter who can share the file. Moderator will manage who can ask questions after making in the chat room first. Moderator may leave you out if you disobey the rules. After everything's said, let the speak up commence. Let's see the performance of the first group. Hello, Group 7. What's your topic and subtopic for today?
Okay, hello there, Hiram. This is Muhammad Firan Ghazi, a presenter from Group 7. And our topic for today is about corruption, in which it had became a culture in Indonesia.
Wow, what an interesting topic, if I do say so myself. Okay, Group 7, the time is yours.
Okay, yes, that's good. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is Muhammad. Yes. This is Muhammad Firan Ghazi from Group 7. And today, me and my friends, Hanifah and Rafi, are going to explain about corruption, in which it had become a culture in Indonesia. Okay, so the first one, let's see at the table of content on what we are going to discuss. The first one is, of course, the definition of corruption. The second one, how to stop corruption. The third one, where the corruption happens. And the fourth one, the impact of corruption. Okay, corruption. What is corruption? You see, corruption came from a Latin word called corruptus. There are several definitions for corruption, some of them including doing harm or destruction. Excuse me. Other terms for corruption include rawness, ugliness, depravity, lying, corruptibility, immorality, departure from purity, and offensive or slanderous remarks or statements. As you can see here, there is a chart that it ranks on which Asian country has the highest rate of corruption. You see, corruption can involve anyone. It doesn't matter if you're just a low public servant or a high-level politician. You can indulge in corruption, but no, please don't. Please don't do that, okay? So in 2022, Indonesia would have a Corruption Perception Index, or a CPI, score of 34 on a scale of 0 to 100. According to a Transparency International research, with this ranking, Indonesia is the 5th most corrupt nation in Southeast Asia. History of corruption. Of course, corruption came from a very, very long time ago. Even when mankind was first created, corruption has existed. And for this material, I will give this control to my friend Hanifa. Hanifa, the time is yours.
Thank you, Kelvin. Now, I will explain the history of corruption. The story of corruption actually is long and complex one, dating back on thousands of years and spanning various civilizations and cultures. So, I will explain the brief overview of the history of corruption. First, there is ancient civilization. Ancient civilization, its means like corruption can be tracked back to ancient civilizations such as Mesopotamia, Egypt, Greece, and Rome. In these societies, corruption often involved bribery, investment, and nepotism among government officials. Second one is medieval and feudal societies. During the Middle Age, corruption continued to exist within feudal societies. Feudal lords and nobles often abused their power and exploited the lower classes, leading to widespread corruption. The Catholic Church also faced issues the corruption during this period, which instead of simony by the paying and selling cursed positions and the sale of indulgences. The third one is colonial era. Sorry. European colonial power engaged widespread corruption in their overseas colonies, exploiting resource of wealth and personal gain. The infamous triangle trade involving Europe, Africa, and the Americas was driven by economic interests and contributed to the perpetuation of corruption and exploitation. In the fourth, modern history. In the 19th and 20th centuries, corruption became a significant issue in newly independent nations and developing countries, often stemming from weak institutions and governance structure. 5. Contemporary corruption. In the contemporary era, corruption remains a global challenge. It takes various forms, including political corruption, corporate corruption, and organized crime. International organizations like the United Nations and Transparency International have worked to combat corruption through treaties, convention, and anti-corruption initiatives. And the last is anti-corruption efforts. Corruption movement and organizations have emerged worldwide to combat corruption. Transparency International Corruption Perception Index ranks countries by perceived level of corruption, and various international conventions, such as the United Nations Conventions Against Corruption, have been established to address the issue. In summary, corruption has a deep-rooted history that spans across the different era and culture. So now, I'll move on to the strategies how to stop corruption. Next slide, please. Okay. First, there is education and awareness. Raising awareness about the consequence of corruption and its impact on society is crucial. Education programs, media campaigns, and civil societies organizations can play a role in educating the public. And then, international cooperation. Corruption often transcends borders. International cooperation and agreements such as the United Nations Conventions Against Corruption can facilitate the extradition of corruption individuals and the recovery of stolen assets. Then, whistleblower protection. Strong legal protection for whistleblowers can encourage individuals to report corrupt practices without fear and retribution. This can be a valuable tool to to uncovering corruption, and then encourage ethical leaderships. Sorry. Leadership in government, business, and civil societies should set an example of ethical behavior. Promoting a culture of integrity can help deter corruption at all levels in society. And strengthen legal frameworks. Government should enact and enforce strict anti-corruption laws, ensuring that those who engage in corruption practice face several penalties. Additionally, whistleblower protects laws and encourage individuals to report corruption without fear and risk of retaliation. And the last is independent oversight and monitoring. Independent anti-corruption agencies and watchdog organizations play a vital role in detecting and preventing corruption. Economy and research to carry out their duties actively. And now the two presenter Ravi will explain about where the corruption happens and the impact of corruption. Ravi, the time is yours.
Okay. Where the corruption happens. Corruption can happen everywhere and anytime. There is many public environment that can be placed to the corruption. Like you can see on the picture, there is police station, company, court, school, mystery. Next slide, please. The impact of corruption. Economy's consequences. Economy's inefficiency. Corruption can lead to inefficient pollution of resources as decisions often influenced by bribes and kickbacks rather than economic favorability and fear. Reduce environment. High levels of corruption can deter both domestic and foreign investment, as businesses are aware of engaging in corruption environments. Security risk. National security is case of corruption with the security and defense sectors. It can compromise national security by weakening the military and law enforcement regimes. Transnational crime. Corruption can facilitate transnational criminal activities, including drug trafficking, human trafficking, and terrorism. As corruption officials may be complicit, turn a blind eye to such activities. Global consequence. Global trade and investment corruption in one country can affect national trade and influence, as businesses may hesitate of engaging with countries with high corruption levels. Human rights violations. Corruption can lead to human rights abuse. Russian officials may engage in tolerant abuse without being held accountable. Political instability. Social unrest and corruption can lead to social unrest and protests as citizens become frustrated with the inequalities and injustices and prejudice. Political instability. Corruption can weaken the stability of government, making them susceptible to uphill coups or others forms of political crisis. Social and human development. Poverty. Corruption derives resources that should be allocated to public service like healthcare, education, and infrastructure. It can lead to insurgency, poverty, and reduce human development. Equality. Corruption can exacerbate social inequalities as those with power and wealth are likely to benefit from corruption practice. Internationalism. Erosion of trust. Corruption undermines public trust in institutions such as government, law enforcement, and the judiciary, which are essential for maintaining social order and stability. They can rule of law. Corruption systems often compromise rule of law, making it difficult to enforce contracts, protect public right, and ensure justice. And last, I will give this presenter back and presenter.
Okay. So, in conclusion, corruption is a pervasive and insidious issue that affects societies, economies, and governments on multiple levels. Its far-reaching impacts can be devastating, undermining the very foundations of trust, justice, and economic progress. Addressing corruption is an imperative, as it is not just a matter of ethics, but a fundamental driver of progress and prosperity. Thank you for listening to our presentation. Now we will give the control back to the moderator. Bani Hiram, the time is yours now.
Okay, thank you. What a spectacular performance from Group 7. Will the next group put on a challenge, or will they tremble in the hands of Group 7? Before we start, I would like to welcome all of you who have just joined this meeting. I hope you can all enjoy. And there's also a absence form in the chat box, and I hope that all of you that attend can submit a response. And on to the second performer of the day. Hello, Group 8. What's your topic and subtopic for today?
Okay, our topic for today is about Go Green for Our Future.
Wow. Not wanting to lose to the first group, Group 8 also has an interesting topic. Okay, Group 8, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the moderator. So, hello guys. Hello everyone. My name is Nimade Kanacheta Sasipratiwi, and I will be the first presenter. And there are two more presenters. The second presenter is Iwayan Tejabayu, and the third presenter is Siti Fatimah. So today we are going to talk about Go Green for Our Future. Okay, so what is Go Green? Go Green is an action to save the Earth, which is currently experiencing damage and global warming due to our own action. Go Green can also be called regreening. With today's advances, many products are not environmentally friendly and can damage nature and the environment because many ingredients are style also influences the environment, such as the use of air conditioning, refrigerators, the number of motorized vehicles, the use of plastic bags, and etc. And to deal with the increasing damage to our Earth, humans must make big chances, but these chances are not easy. However, it would be better if we start the change from ourselves. The following concrete steps that are expected to be implemented to implement Go Green includes: First, do not throw rubbish anywhere. And second, use clean water as necessary. Third, plant at least one tree for each person. And fourth, use paper optimally by utilizing both sides. And fifth, save electricity usage as efficiently as possible. And six, use of mass transportation such as busways or buses. Public transportation recommended. And then seven, use transportation that is free of gas emission, such as electric motorbikes and vehicles or even walking. And eight, do not smoke. Apart from being useful for health, it also reduces gas emission in the air, sorting waste, recyclables that can be used. And 10, save water and soap when washing your hands. 11, compost at home. And last but not least, recycle waste. Okay, and for this one, I will give it to the second presenter, Bayu. The time is yours.
Okay, next slide, please. So, what is global warming? Global warming is a process of increasing the average temperature of the Earth's atmosphere, sea, and land. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change (IPCC) concluded that most of the increase in global average temperature since the mid 20th century is likely due to increasing concentrations gases resulting from human activities through the greenhouse effect. Next slide, please. What are the some causes of global warming? The first is a greenhouse effect. All energy source on Earth come from the sun. Most of this energy is in the form of shortwave radiation, including visible light. When this energy hits the Earth's surface, it changes from light to heat, which warms the Earth. The Earth's surface will absorb some of the heat and reflect the rest back. Some of this heat goes as long-wave infrared radiation into outer space. The second is a feedback effect. The effects of global warming agents are also influenced by the various feedback processes they produce. An example is the evaporation of water. In the case of warming due to increasing greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide, warming will initially cause more water to evaporate into the atmosphere because water vapor itself is a greenhouse gas. Heating will continue and increase the amount of water vapor in the air until an equilibrium water vapor concentration is reached. The resulting greenhouse effect is greater when compared to carbon dioxide gas itself. Next slide, please. Oh, and last but not least is sun variations. It is hypothesized that variations in the sun, possibly amplified by feedbacks from clouds, may have contributed to the current warming. The difference between this mechanism and warming due to the greenhouse effect is that increased solar activity will hit the stratosphere, whereas the greenhouse effect will cool the stratosphere. Cooling of the lower stratosphere has been observed since at least 1960, which would not have occurred if solar activity had been the main contributor. Current warming. Uh, that's all from me. Please take your turn. Jara.
Okay, thank you, Bayu. Okay, everyone, I will explain some impact of global warming. And first is fire. Forest fires are usually caused by increasing surface temperatures in the area due to the effects of global warming occurs during the dry season. Many fires have been intentionally set to clear land for agriculture and can destroy much more forest than was intended. And the second is melting ice. The melting of polar ice is caused by temperatures increasing drastically so it can melt polarized ice. Melting ice causes more warming because they are darker in color. The ocean and land absorb more incoming solar radiation and then release the heat to the atmosphere. And the third is seawater level is rising. The increase in sea level is caused by ice water that has melted from the poles. Next slide, please. Okay, we all know that our Earth is our responsibility. So it really is our duty to protect the planet we live on, the same planet where we have gotten all our resources from. If we do not reduce global warming and countless other harmful environmental activities, sooner or later there will be nothing left. Okay, that's all for me. I will give this back to the first presenter, Kayana. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you. So the okay, so let's cultivate and implement the Go Green movement, making it part of our lifestyle. Because no effort is most significant unless it starts from yourself. That's why saving the environment must effectively start with small things. It's time to reduce the threat of global warming by starting a Go Green life. And that is all from us. I will give this back to the moderator.
Wow, what an amazing performance from Group 8. Both group both both group has presented their topics spectacularly. With that, let's go on to the next section, the question and answer. In this section, we have two parts. The first part is only for the presenters, and the second part is for all of the observers. And special for the observers, you can write your questions in the chat box, and I'll call your name after that. So if you have any questions about our topic today, feel free to ask. Let's start to our first section between presenters. You may raise your hands and open your mic if you want to ask. Okay, Nimade, kaya na sila. Can you open your mic, please, and ask your questions?
Okay, thank you. So my question for group 7 is what action that we can do to stop corruption as a student?
Okay, please, group 7, can you answer the questions?
Okay, so the question for Kayana, I will answer it. So what action we can do to stop corruption as a student is first we can educate ourselves. First, we can make an effort to understand what is corruption and how to manifest in various form, and read some articles about the the impact of corruption and the effects on societies, and we can make a little effort to combat it. And the second, we can engage with social media. We can use our social media platform to share information about corruption highlight corruption practice, and raise public awareness. You can also join an online discussion or community about focus on anti-corruption efforts. That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, Nimade, is your question satisfied? Is the answer satisfied?
Yes, it's satisfied. I'm satisfied. Thank you.
So, okay, so group 7, do you have any other questions for group 8?
Okay, excuse me, and I have several questions for group 8.
Sure, go ahead.
So just wait a minute. Okay, so my first question is, what are the examples of reduce, reuse, and recycle in government?
Okay. Okay. The answer are the- Okay, the examples are refill a water bottle with water from home instead of buying a new one. Update your computer instead buying a new one or getting a replacement, and ditch plastic bags and use reusable, environmentally friendly bags instead. Are you satisfied with the answer?
Yes, I'm satisfied with the answer. Thank you.
Okay, good. Is there any other questions that the presenters ask to each other? I will count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, moving on to the second part, which is for the observers. You may ask your questions in the chat box or even raise your hands and I'll pick one of you up. Okay, so you may ask. Okay, if you want to ask, you may open your mic.
Okay, thank you. Good presentation, yeah. Can I ask to the two team for two team?
Sure, you may.
Okay. For the group 7, about corruption, yeah, yeah. Where did you learn about not to be corrupt? What the activity that learn you not be corruptor? Okay, in the school, yeah. For group 8, is there relationship to save the environment and corruption? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Miss Aini, for giving us the questions. So group 7, maybe?
Okay, so Miss Aine's question is, where do we learn on not being corrupt? Is that correct? Yes. So there are multiple places in which you can learn on how to be a good and obeying to the law citizen. You can learn it in school, in the mosque, during hajatan, maybe. Well, we never know. Just need to remember that every knowledge is useless without religion. So in this case, corruption is also a knowledge in which it is a not very good knowledge. You you understand what I'm saying, right? It's just this type of
Okay. I think what the activity in the school,
yes.
maybe Beleki or Pelima or what, learn you not to be corrupt.
Okay. Okay, for that, what kind of activity on where we can learn on how not to be a corrupt person? The most fitting one would be Bebeki or Jamia or even Kudu, as it helped the most a religious and informative session. Yeah, are you satisfied with the question, Miss Aini?
Okay, next for the question for group 8. You may now answer.
Okay, I will answer the question. Of course, there is the environment problem, corruption, and climate change have become the world issues that cannot be spared from political, moral, cultural, institutional, and economic problems. So there is a connection between environmental and corruption. I hope that as answer can be satisfied.
It's a thumbs up for Miss Aini. Thank you for both the presenters for answering the question. And now for Mr. Iwan Setiawan, you may open your mic and ask your questions. Okay, can you hear my voice?
Hello? Is my voice clear?
Yes, sir, it is very clear.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I would like to ask to group 7. Okay, what have you done to prevent corruption? Yeah. Okay. In your presentation, you mentioned several activities to prevent corruption. So, what have you done to prevent corruption? And then for group 8, I also have the same question. What have you done to support the Go Green activity? I think that's all my questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the questions. Okay, for the first one, group 7, do you have any answers for that?
Okay, for the question on what we have done to prevent corruption. Yes, am I right? Yes, okay. So what have we done to prevent corruption? Okay, so, okay, so the first one is that we need to understand on what is corruption. You see, corruption is basically misbehaving or mistreating the law. So, for example, you gave the people tax, but then you took the people's money using tax. That's corruption. Okay, so on what we have done to prevent corruption is that we So we have done several, and the measures to prevent corruption include: the first one is transparency and promoting open and transparent government process and financial transactions. The second one is accountability, in which holding public officials and institutions accountable for their actions. The third one, anti-corruption laws and regulations, enforcing and strengthening laws that criminalize corrupt practice. The fourth one is, of course, we have said before, whistleblower protection, protecting individuals who report corruption from retaliation. And I think that's all from us. Are you satisfied, sir, with the question, with the answer? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think your answer is very good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you for the answers and also thank you for the questions. Moving on to the eighth performer. Your questions, you may answer them.
Okay, I will answer the question. What have we done to implement the Go Green? Well, we are not throwing like rubbish everywhere. We put rubbish where it should be, and we only use clean water for necessity. And we also have plant at least one tree, and we also have saved the electricity usage as efficiently as we can, efficiently as possible. And that is like how we implement this Go Green. I hope my answer can be useful.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you for the answers. To be honest, that's very inspiring. And okay, next up we have Alifa Putri. You may open your mic and ask your questions.
Okay, I would like to ask Group 7. So my question is, how can corruption can impact Indonesian economy?
Group 7, you may ask. You may now answer.
Erosion of trust. Corruption erodes public trust in government institutions, which can lead to lack of confidence in public system and other essential goods. This can discourage business from participating in the formal economy. Various public sectors. Corruption can divert public funds away from crucial sector like healthcare, education, and industry, resulting in subpar public service and economy and human livelihood. Oliver, are you satisfied, sir?
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Rofi.
Okay. That was an interesting answer. Well, next up we have Christina. You may now open your mic and also ask your questions.
Thank you for the opportunity, Hiram. I would like to ask a question to Group A. Is there any movement or program that reminds or encourages us to stop global warming? And if there is, can you tell me your favorite or the one that you also support? Thank you.
Okay, wow. Okay, now Group 8 may now answer Nisrina's question.
Okay, Climate Action Network or CAN is a global network of more than 1,900 civil society organizations in over 130 countries, driving collective and sustainable action to fight the climate crisis. Uh, are you satisfied with the answer?
Yes, thank you for answering, Bayu.
Okay. Is there any other people that would like to ask? No one? Anyone? I'll count to three once again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so moving on to before we close the Q&A section, is there any other questions or comments from the teacher? Ms. Chika, maybe?
Okay, thank you, Hiram. Okay, I want to ask to both of the groups. The first group's about corruption. Okay, the first question for you. Do you know the Mr. Suharto era, the second Indonesian president? Yes, we know in his era, the corruption is not been a usual thing. Maybe just not many people in all aspect can do corruption, but now we can see in this era, many of people can do the corruption. As according to you, what make the Mr. Suharto era people scared to do corruption? That's my question for the corruption group. And for the Go Green group, okay, my question is how to make people aware if a Go Green is an important thing now, because I still saw many people in the traditional market are using the plastic bag. Okay, most of them are the mothers. Yes, how to make them aware if Go Green is so important. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you.
Okay, either group 7 or group 8, you may answer the questions from Ms. Chika.
Okay, this is group 7. So, Miss Chika, I apologize for my impoliteness, but could you please repeat your question?
Okay, never mind. Okay, I just want to ask if you know the era or our second president, Mr. Suharto. There are just a little bit of people of the government officer that did the corruption. It's really contrast with this era. Almost all the aspect, all the fields of the government did a corruption. Yes, my question is what make people, especially the government officers, care to did corruption in Suharto era? And what make the people in this era brave to do the corruption? Okay, got it?
Yes, yes. Please wait for a little bit as we search for the answer. Thank you.
Okay, while group 7 is finding the answers, group 8 maybe? Do you have any answers?
Yes. So, wait a second. So we can remind people about things that can happen if we don't go green and what will happen if global warming still continue. And we can also share articles, books, and documentaries promoting sustainable living. Also, you can engage in conversation with others about the importance of reducing our carbon footprint. If people are more aware of the impact their choice can have, they are more likely to opt for the action that is best for the planet. And that is for my answer. I hope you are satisfied.
Okay, Miss, are you satisfied with the questions from Group 8?
Okay, yes, very satisfied. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to Group 7, do you have the answers?
Yes,
Sure,
of
you may.
course, we have found the answer. Okay. So during the Suharto era in Indonesia or the Orde Baru, yeah, there was a combination of factors that contributed to the fear of engaging in corruption and the perception that it was not a usual activity. These factors included: 1. Authoritarian rule. Suharto maintained tight control over the country, and his government had the authority to crack down on corruption. The second one is strongman leadership. Suharto's rule was marked by a strong leadership and a centralized government. His regime was known for swiftly suppressing any and every dissent or challenges to his authority. The third one is the fear of informants. The government had an extensive intelligence network that monitored the activities of citizens. People were well aware that informants could report corrupt activities to the authorities, making it very risky to engage in corruption without the fear of being exposed. And that is all of our answer. Are you satisfied, Miss, with the answer?
Okay, Gazi, a good answer. So accordingly, should we go back to Suharto era to prevent the corruption? It's just your opinion. Look at our culture.
Okay, so this is a risky one, very risky one. So my opinion on whether we should go back to the methods of Suharto era, the order, is that okay, there are several factors that that makes the return of the Orde Baru as an insufficient and useless method. The first one is being that, well, Indonesian likes to break rules, so with fear or intimidation, we will just, it's going to be similar to Papua. You get what I mean? It's just impossible.
Okay, well done. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for the questions, Ms. Ika. Also, thank you for everyone who have asked a question. With that, I can promptly end this Q&A section. I'd say those were some hard questions, but again, both teams answered it with ease. Okay, everyone, all of the questions have been answered by the presenter. Give a big applause for all of them. So to sum up some of the material that has been presented, for the first group, it would be on how corruption is a parasite, tearing the country apart and happens so much so that it becomes a culture in Indonesia. And for the second group, it was about how we should use green chemistry as the hopes of better preserving our beloved Earth. Thank you all for joining us on the fourth annual Pesat Speaks Up. I'll give this back to this video conference back to the host. Okay, Rachel, I'll send it back to you. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Hiram. Wow, that's so amazing performance. I hope you all enjoy it. And for the educators, do you have any additional word to add? Maybe Miss Aini or Miss Tri or
Okay,
Mr. Iwan?
thank you.
Okay,
May I first?
yes.
Okay, thank you, Rasa. Good presentation, yeah, and not my expert that Gazi can explain the Soeharto ya, era Orde Baru. Where is you are? In that era. Ya. Oke, the So from group A, that's what the sesuai. Like my ini ya, like my materi in biodiversity ya. The great threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it gitu ya. Jadi we believe that the order save our earth. So our earth is strong gitu. Ngandelin ya. Same with corruption too ya, because the people believe that the order save our country, our earth gitu ya. That's a good presentation and don't apa ya? Don't stay just here. Grow up your English, grow up your scientist, and grow up your attitude ya. Give the best attitude, give the best tech knowledge ya. Itu good luck for your all. Terutama what for this presenter. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, for Miss Tri or Mr. Iwan, do you have some additional word to add?
Okay, thank you. Group 7 and Group 8, good job, yeah, for very nice and complete, very interesting material selection. Satu kata ya, apa ya, satu kalimat buat Group 7 ya. Corruption cannot be there Indonesia country. And Group A become a diskusi of the World Organization PBB go green, masalah yang sangat luar biasa ya. Itu kemudian dibutuhkan net care of all country. Itu. Thank you.
Okay, and for Mr. Iwan, do you have some additional word to us?
Okay, thank you for the chance. I think both of the group have done an amazing presentation. Yeah, you have clearly give us the information about the topic that you are presenting, and I also believe that both of the group have learned more about Go Green and also about corruption, so they can present it very well. I think it's a very, very good job for both of you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Iwan, and Miss Heidi and Mr. for your additional word. And before I end this meeting, let us take a picture together. So I beg you all to turn on the camera. Okay, everyone, put your best poses. 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, done. Thank you so much for today. See you next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.